Welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining me for today's practice. My name is Colleen. I am with Shine On Yoga. I have Sam here. Fritz is somewhere running around, so I'm sure that he is going to show up shortly. Today I have a really just super kind of chill practice for you. We're not going to be doing a whole lot of flows. We're just going to more concentrate on stretching everything out and just taking it nice and easy while still getting a little bit of movement in. You won't need a lot of props, but if you'd like some, I would recommend blocks, bolsters, blankets. And if you don't have any of those things, do not worry. They're not required. We're going to start out today just in a nice, comfortable, cross-legged seat. So go ahead and find that. Okay, come on, get off with me. All right, so we're going to sit in our seat. Dogs are tracking in mud everywhere. Go away. We're going to go and sit in our nice cross-legged seat. Just take a moment here to breathe before we start the practice. Nice big inhales and exhales here. If it feels safe, you can close down the eyes. Or if not, just soften your gaze. Just letting go of our to-do lists. Everything we need to get done for this holiday season that we've just entered into. Let's take one more big inhale here. Exhale, let it go. All right, let's move a little bit. So from here, let's go ahead and come to all fours. Dogs were just outside and they tracked a bunch of mud in here all over my mat, of course. All right, so we're gonna come into a nice tabletop position. Your knees underneath your hip points, your hands underneath your shoulders. And we're gonna start to warm up the spine with a little cat-cow. On an inhale, go ahead and drop those lower ribs, lift the head, lift the tail. Feel that nice big stretch through the front body. And then as you exhale, we're gonna round through the spine, tuck the tail, tuck the head, coming into cat pose. Feeling a nice big stretch through our back body. Inhaling into cow, exhaling into cat. Go ahead and do a few more just on your own inhales and exhales. And before we go any further, I have Fritz here, who is being a problem because Chai's in here. So we're going to remove Fritz real quick. Say bye. All right. No more dogs. Sometimes you just got to lock them out. But now we have Chai Cat, and she's just as problematic. All right, back to cat-cow here. All right, and when you're ready, we're going to bring that to stillness, and we're going to do a little bit of balancing work. So I'm going to give you some different points as we go through this. You choose your option. I'm going to walk forward on my mat here a little bit. So let's start just by stretching out that right leg behind us, and then you can rock back and forth on that foot, just bringing some movement into that calf. Maybe a little bit of a stretch there. And then when you're ready, we'll bring that to stillness. And then you can stay here in that rocking motion or maybe play with lifting that right foot up off the mat. Keep the toes dialed down. So for some, you might be good here. For others, maybe you want to reach your left palm forward like you're shaking someone's hand. And then you'll balance your weight in between the hand that's on the mat and your leg. Keep breathing here. When you're ready, we'll go ahead and place both of those limbs down. Let's walk our right hand kind of closer to the center line of our mat. Bring your knees as wide as the mat, big toes to touch. And on an inhale, we'll reach our left arm up to the sky, feeling a nice big stretch and opening through our chest. On the exhale, we're going to take our left hand, we're going to thread it under this right arm and come onto our left ear and shoulder, feeling a nice big stretch through our back body. You can bend that right hand if you'd like, or the right elbow, sorry. Guess you can't really bend your hand. And we'll keep breathing here. Right. After a few breaths, we'll go ahead and return back to our tabletop position. Go ahead and bring your knees back in line with your hip points. And then this time we'll reach our left foot back. You can rock back and forth, feeling a little stretch. Now you guys are probably hearing Fritz whining here. He is absolutely obsessed with this cat. All right, when you're ready, we're going to stop that rocking, lift those left toes up off the mat, leg in line with the hip points. Maybe you stay here, or maybe you reach that right hand forward. Balance and breathe. One more big breath here. And exhale, we'll lower everything back to the mat. We'll go ahead and take our knees as wide as the mat again, big toes to touch. Let's walk our left hand in towards the center line. And on an inhale, we'll reach our right arm up to the sky, feeling a nice big stretch and opening. And breathe. All right. After a few breaths, we'll go ahead and thread the needle on this side, bringing the left hand under the right arm. Coming onto that right ear, maybe bending that left elbow. And breathe here, feeling that nice big stretch through the upper back. Right, when you're ready, we'll return back to our tabletop position once again. And this time look down at your hands, see where they're at. We're going to replace our hands with our elbows. So bring your elbows to where your hands were. So two parallel lines, two train tracks here. Hips are up. We're going to walk our knees back until our forehead and our chest melt into the mat. You're going to feel a nice big stretch through your chest and through your armpits. This is called puppy pose. Imagine a puppy playing. We're going to take some nice big breaths here. Nice big inhales and exhales. When you're ready, start to look forward. We're going to come through onto our belly. Keep your arms where they are, and we're just going to look forward, coming into a little Sphinx pose. Feeling a nice opening here. All right, when you are ready, we'll go ahead and come back to all fours. And if your hands are underneath your shoulders, just walk them one handprint in front of where they were. When you're ready, we're going to tuck our toes under. Take a nice big inhale here, And on the exhale, we're gonna lift our knees up off the mat, straighten through the legs, let those heels grow heavy, press away from the mat. We're in our first downward facing dog. Now from here, you can walk your dog, just bending one knee and then the other. I'm actually gonna take off my socks real quick because I'm sliding around on my mat. You have on socks. If it's cold where you're at, you might wanna do the same. All right, so once you're back in your downward facing dog, if you came out of it, you can walk it again, bending one knee and then the other, getting some movement in those calves, feeling a nice stretch. And after a few moments of that, go ahead and bring it to stillness, let those heels grow heavy, and we'll breathe. From here, go ahead and plant that left foot onto the mat. We'll lift those right toes up. Keep the toes dialed down like we did earlier. Nice big inhale here. Exhale, we'll bend the knee, shift forward, look forward, bringing that knee in towards your chest. And then you can step that foot in between your hands and you can lower onto that left leg, coming into this nice low lunge. Chest nice and lifted. Now, if this is a little bit tricky for you, you can use blocks here just to bring the floor up to you, or you can also engage your core and come up a little bit higher. Just keep your chest nice and lifted, pull that right hip crease back, left hip crease forward, and we're gonna breathe here. When you're ready, let's tuck our left toes under. We're going to step our right foot back to meet our left, coming back into our downward facing dog. Again, take any movement that feels natural to you, or you can stay in stillness. Let's just take some nice big breaths here. When you're ready, we're going to lift our left leg up, keep the toes dialed down. So again, you don't have to lift them clear up. So just nice and in line with the hips. Nice big inhale. And then exhale, we'll shift forward, bringing that knee in towards our chest, looking forward. Before we step it in between our palms, coming down onto our right knee for our low lunge on this side. Take a few breaths here. Pull that left hip crease back, right hip crease forward. All right, from here, we are just going to start to shift your hips back. We're going to place our left foot or our left knee on the mat, and then we're going to come to sit on the mat here. Give me 1 second. Legs outstretched. These animals today are driving me crazy. No one is cooperating with anything, but that's how it is with this at-home yoga practice. It's not always perfect. If you have kids running around, if you have pets, sometimes it's just chaos. So we're still going to practice despite it, and hopefully still get some benefits. We will get some benefits regardless. All right, so your legs should be outstretched in front of you. You're sitting on your mat. Now, before we do this, I'm going to give you just a little tip. If your hamstrings are really tight, you can use a bolster. If you don't have a bolster, you can use a pillow or anything like that. Just something to, again, bring your legs up to you. So if you're using a bolster, you can put it on top of your legs like this. If you're using blankets, pillows, whatever, you can do that. So that is an option. Otherwise, let's all bend our knees, kind of walk your feet in a little bit. On an inhale, we'll reach up towards the sky. And then exhale, we're going to fold forward and reach for our feet. Now maybe you can grab the outer edges of your feet. Maybe you can't. Maybe you just reach your ankle, or maybe just the back of your thighs. Wherever you can reach is fine. Go to your limit. Now if you're here with your knees bent and you want a little bit more, you can start to straighten them. You can straighten one and then the other. And again, that may change where your hands are able to go, because you still want to keep length in your back. You don't want to round forward and pull yourself like this. You want to be nice and straight here. So adjust if you need to. If you want to start out with straight legs, you can reach up and then just fold forward, reaching for your feet, letting your head hang, and eventually trying to bring your knees or your nose to your knees. If you can't get there, that's okay. It is a work in progress. Use one of those other options that I showed you, either with knees bent or with a bolster or blankets. And we're just going to take a moment here just to breathe into this stretch, feeling that nice release in our hamstrings. After a few breaths, go ahead and roll it back up to seated. I'm going to come to face you guys because we're going to go into something called cobbler's pose. And this is a nice big hip opener. It can be a little bit difficult. I'm going to have some blocks nearby just to show you some options. So what we're going to do in our cobbler's pose is we're going to take one foot and then the other foot and just bring them together like we're opening up a book. So soles of the feet together, your knees are going to be down on either side of you. Big hip opener. Now, I've been doing this for a long time, so my hips are very open. If yours are not and your knees are up here and you find that this is super uncomfortable, you can take blocks and just place them under your knees, again, to bring the ground up to you. If you don't have blocks, you can use blankets, bolsters, pillows, anything you have around the house. So you can pick your option here. And we can just sit up straight. You can give yourself a little foot massage if you'd like. If you're not feeling anything here and you'd like a little bit more, you can walk your palms forward and you can melt into the mat or the ground. Smell your feet, do whatever you'd like here, and just breathe. So you can pick your option. We're going to just hold this for a few breaths, and then we'll come out of it. All right, if you have gone into a fold over your cobbler's pose, go ahead and rise back up. If you're still in your cobbler's pose, we're going to transition onto our backs here for a moment. We're going to keep on winding this down. Now, don't forget about that cobbler's pose because we're going to come back to it, but just in a different way. All right, so we're going to roll onto our backs. Keep your knees bent, feet on the mat. Walk your feet in towards your glutes. Hands pressed into the mat. Go ahead and snuggle those shoulder blades underneath your heart center. And then also make sure that your lower back is firmly on the mat. Take a nice big inhale here. And on the exhale, we're going to slowly peel our tailbone up off the mat, pressing through the feet, coming into a little bridge pose. Now, again, for some, this might not be as appropriate, so you can take a block. You can bring it underneath your sacrum, so that's kind of at the base of your tailbone. And you can use the block to come into a restorative bridge. So that's an option. Again, if you don't have blocks, just use anything around that will help you come into the position a little bit easier, so it's a little more enjoyable while your body adapts and changes and gets stronger. If you're up in this bridge pose, bring your chest to your chin to the sky, so that way you still have length in your neck. We're going to breathe here, just strengthening our legs and our glutes. Core's even turned on a little bit. One more big inhale here. And exhale, we'll lower all the way back down to the mat. Take a moment, take a breath. We're going to walk our feet, and you can heel toe all the way until you reach the edge of your mat. Once you do, let your knees fall in together. We're coming into a little constructive rest pose. Take a moment here, take a few breaths. After a few moments, we're going to go ahead and walk our feet super close together. And once you feel your arches reach together, we're going to butterfly our legs out to either side. We're going to come back into that cobbler's pose, but we're going into a reclined cobbler's pose. So now we're laying down instead of sitting up. So it's going to feel a little bit different. Again, you can put blocks underneath your knees if you'd like, or any other props that you might want to use. Hands can be on your belly. Maybe you want to put them on your legs. Maybe you just want to stretch them out at your sides. Yogi's choice. Take some nice big breaths here. Just adding some rotation to those hips. Let's take one more big inhale here. Exhale, let it go. When you're ready, we'll stretch one foot out long and away, and then the other. Your hands can fall open to the sides, taking up space. You can leave them on your body, whatever feels good to you. This is going to be our final resting posture, Shavasana, or the corpse pose. If you'd like to use any props for your Shavasana, you're more than welcome to. Otherwise, all you really need is a mat. If it feels safe, you can close down your eyes, or you can just soften your gaze. Just going to let everything go and marinate. I am going to go quiet for a moment just to allow you some time to relax, but I will be back shortly to guide you out of this final posture. The card that I pulled for today's practice is Peacock Spirit. And the message is to let it shine. When is the last time you shook a tail feather and shined your light for all to see? Within each of us is a peacock spirit yearning for expression. And you are called now to show the world the gorgeous creature you are. For you are a manifestation of spirit. Come out from the shadows, Peacock Spirit says, and show your true colors so that others may be inspired to express their own exquisiteness. Dance as if you remember that you are made of stardust and grace, filled with life force energy and sparkling light. You are a channel for divine love, and your dance is one of a kind. Catch the light and help it to shimmer and dance in celebration of your good fortune of being here right now. Spirit wants you to be joyful so that others may get up and dance along with you. If you would like to stay in Shavasana, then you can stay as long as time allows. But if you need to continue on with your day, then slowly start to deepen your breaths. When you feel ready, begin to wiggle fingers and toes. And then slowly put one foot on the mat and then the other. Just keep your knees bent. Finally, whenever you feel ready, I invite you to roll over to your favorite side. Come into a little fetal position and just hang out there for a few breaths as you return to the room around you. Whenever you feel ready, go ahead and return to a nice comfortable seat, bringing your head and neck up last. If your eyes are still closed, you can blink them open to the room around you. I want to thank you so much for joining me for today's practice. I hope you found it relaxing despite all the chaos that was around me at the beginning and towards the middle. Sometimes that's just how it goes with the yoga practice. This week is just one of those weeks. This is why we do yoga, so we can take a breath and when we're right in the middle of that chaos. So I hope you found it beneficial. For those of you on the live, I will have a replay of this on my YouTube channel. You can check out the link in my bio for that if you'd like to go back and practice this again, or if you'd like to check out any of my past practices. There's different lengths and different varieties. They're not all slow. A lot of them are very strength building and quick. So if you'd like to check that out, that is there for you. If you are watching the replay on YouTube, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate you being here. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps me out. I will be back next week with a brand new practice. For those of you that do come to the live next week, I will probably be doing this on Tuesday and not Wednesday. I have something that has come up for this Wednesday at the same time, so I won't be here this next Wednesday, but I'm going to really try to be here Tuesday. So if you'd like to join me, then on TikTok, you can subscribe, and I think it notifies you somehow, some way on the live. So again, I want to thank you guys so much. I hope you have a great rest of the week, and I will see you next week. Namaste. Just in time for a commercial break, too, with my music. Say bye. Say bye.